Hi, boys and girls. I'm going to go ahead and show you how you can find your lesson or your assignment for lesson 0702 in language arts, which is called Theme on the Oregon Trail. Before we get into the Buzz lesson, I do want to just point out a couple of things with this assignment. This assignment has two different activities. The first activity, you are completing and submitting the reading summary of chapter 3 on the Oregon Trail that you worked on in the lesson. So for this assignment, boys and girls, this is actually something that you're working on within the lesson. And it's actually found on page 6 of 12 in the lesson. So when you get to page 6 of the lesson, it's going to ask you to write a summary on chapter 3 of the Oregon Trail. You're going to turn in that summary at the end. So make sure you either type it or write it out on paper. And then the second part of your assignment is this activity number 2. You're completing and submitting the informative graphic organizer that you worked on in the lesson. The writing prompt for this assignment is written below, and that's just coming from the Buzz lesson. And I'll have the prompt here as well for you. So let's go into Buzz. We'll look at these two assignments that go with 702. Okay, so we're looking at our language arts course. And we're looking at 702. The blank page icon takes you to the lesson. Okay, this is a 12-page lesson. Make sure you go through all 12 pages. A lot of the assignments are coming from within this specific lesson. So just to start, I'm going to go to the last page. And this last page shows you what your assignment is. As I showed you, I just copied and pasted from right here, number 1 and 2. For our upcoming weekly announcements. So let's just look at it really quick. Number 1, you're completing and submitting the reading summary of chapter 3. So as you get to that part of the lesson, which again is on page 6, we'll take a look at that in just a moment. Make sure you're handwriting that or typing that out to submit that. And then number 2, you're completing the informative graphic organizer that you worked on within the lesson. The graphic organizer is here. I'll open that up for you. It's 3 pages long. You've seen this graphic organizer before. Okay, you can put your writing prompt in here. You've got your hook, your bridge, your controlling idea, your 3 body paragraphs, and with each of the body paragraphs, you've got your transition words and phrases, your topic sentence, evidence, and closing sentence, and then your conclusion on page 3, which includes your restate the controlling idea from your intro and your closing statement. Okay, so that's your graphic organizer. And the writing prompt is found right here. You just click on that pink rectangle here titled writing prompt, and it'll drop down. On the Oregon Trail is about Otis's journey along the Oregon Trail. Use what you learned from the story details. Explain what life was like on the Oregon Trail. Use evidence from chapters 1 through 3 to support your response. So this is what you are answering. You are explaining what life was like on the Oregon Trail. That's what your prompt should be about, explaining what life was like, and your evidence should come from chapters 1 through 3 to support your response. So when you explain what life was like on the Oregon Trail, you should be pulling evidence from those 3 chapters to support your findings, okay? And you're filling out that graphic organizer that I just showed you using this prompt right here, okay? And you're going to be working on that throughout the lesson, okay? And then I am just going to draw your attention back to number 1, the reading summary. As I said, it's on page 6. Page 6 is where you do the summary. Right here. So here's the story, the Oregon Trail, on the Oregon Trail. And it tells you right up here what you do, the try it. It says select the text selector from the toolbox. Use the highlight tool in the toolbox to help you find story elements that support the theme. Some of these elements are the answers to the questions and the popovers you see in the text. After you finish reading the chapter, use the summarized anchor chart in your interactive notebook, which is just your spiral notebook, to help you answer the popover questions. Then complete the activity following the chapter and use your answers to the activity and your notes from the anchor chart to help you write a summary of Chapter 3, The Buffalo Hunt from the Oregon Trail. Make sure you include the theme in your summary. So right here, this summary that you're writing for Chapter 3, Buffalo Hunt, is the summary you're turning in for Part 1 of your assignment. And then Part 2 is the graphic organizer. Okay, so I'm just going to go back here, back to page 12. Again, number 1, right here, that part right there, number 1, the summary is on page 6. The graphic organizer is found right here. You've got the writing prompt that you're answering, explaining what life was like on the Oregon Trail, using that text on the Oregon Trail, chapters 1 through 3. And this is, again, something you're to be working on throughout the lesson. When you're done, you've got 2 submissions for 702. Your first submission is here. The reading summary you'd submit by clicking on the blue plus button on your screen. And then if you go over to the next activity tab again, you've got the graphic organizer submission. So you're going to submit the summary and the summary submission and the graphic organizer and the graphic organizer submission, and you'll have that blue plus button to submit your work.